Oh, hey, team. Hey, you guys. We
Welcome.
are,
Hi, how are you?
Good.
hey,
How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Of
We're
course, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
thanks,
we're
Sasha.
just kicking it off. And for everyone joining, please drop your name in chat, where you're from.
Always have that good geographic spread on our Dimcast calls. Um, we are we are very fortunate that we were able to pivot today. We had a scheduled call. Tom Bonnier was going to come and talk about the election results and what they mean for 2026, and we are going to have him on a future democracy briefing. Um, but he had a situation with his family that he needed to attend to, which is totally understandable. And so he let us know this morning, and we are super excited that we were able to bring on Sasha to talk about um, some boycotts. Yay! Some actions that people can take. Hey, we love actions. And so we'll get to that in just a second. But just to frame up the call for those of you who might be joining us for the very first time on the Democracy Briefing. I'm Nick Knudsen. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Dimcast USA. We are a 501c4 nonprofit organization dedicated to defeating right-wing narratives on social media, beating back their rampant propaganda, and spreading pro-democracy messages online. We do that by um, recruiting and training and deploying all of you who have social media accounts to spread those messages everywhere that we can across all social media platforms 24/7, 365. The right wing does this all the time. They're super good at it, but we're super good at it too. And you guys have been kicking ass lately and taking names, and we really appreciate you um, for spreading the good word in online spaces. And today we're going to be talking about a really cool topic that uh, we're really excited um, to talk about. So it's the "We Ain't Buying It" campaign, uh, which I love that name. That's fantastic. It works on so many levels. Um, and we are um, very, very happy to welcome Sasha and Glorianne from this campaign. And why don't we just kick it off and maybe you guys can introduce yourselves. We had to like pull this together at the last minute, so we like to do intros for people, but we don't have your bios. So um, yeah, tell us who you are, where you work, and what this and let's talk about this campaign.
Chloe, you want to kick it off?
Sure. Thanks, Sasha. So I'm Glow. I'm a 5051 national coordinator and founder of Political Revolution. So I got involved with We Ain't Buying It early on. This was coalesced by a wide coalition of organizations and movements, including the Target Fast movement, Until Freedom, Black Voters Matter. We also have participation from Endelon, and we also have participation from Fight Back Table, Indivisible, and several other organizations that really helped pull this together. The vision of We Ain't Buying It is a consumer pressure campaign. We're not calling it a boycott, so that like a wide range of organizations can buy into this, especially typically organizations that would not otherwise participate in economic pressure campaigns.
Right.
This is also a very strategic campaign. Instead of doing a blanket list of organizations, what we did was a very strategic list of three specific companies. Amazon for monopolizing basically the entire digital money funnel, basically artificially manufacturing a day of Cyber Monday that we feel like we have to spend money. They're also very anti-union. Target for consistently pulling back DEI efforts, and Home Depot for putting immigrants in danger and working with ICE to criminalize and arrest immigrants. And I will pass it over to you, Sasha.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Sasha, from many walks of life. I've worked on many campaigns across my time in the movement for social justice. I'm so thrilled to join you all. Thanks, Nick and Jamie, for having us. As Glo said, I'm going to do a repetition of what she said and maybe say it another way. And we know that you have to repeat things a lot of times in our work in order for it to stick. So, as Glo said, we are calling on all Americans who are outraged and frustrated and want to do something in this moment to take a very simple action during the kickoff of the holiday shopping season from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. Now, I want to be really specific. We're not asking people to uh, make a huge life change. We're not asking people to commit to something long term. We're just asking that during the kickoff of the holiday season, when we know retailers sometimes make like 20% of their annual profits in just one very long weekend, that we are encouraging consumers all across this country to make a different choice. Instead of shopping at the big name retailers that Glo just mentioned, Amazon, Target, and Home Depot, three companies who have time after time after time continued to capitulate to this administration, who've continued to say, we're gonna donate to the campaign and we're gonna take action that's folding to the Trump administration. We're asking consumers to take note and make a different choice this holiday season. We're specifically using the language to withhold spending. The term boycott brings up a lot of things for a lot of people. We're
Right.
asking people to withhold their spending at these three retailers for just a couple of days, Black Friday to Cyber Monday. We'll drop the link. I know it got dropped in the chat a few times. Jamie just dropped it again. To please promote, follow us on social, sign up to the We Ain't Buying It campaign, and make sure that your voice is heard. We know these three companies have continued time after time again to fold to the administration, and we're saying, let's make a different choice. And I just want to remind people, some people say, oh, it's a short term. Oh, it's not a lot of time. Oh, these are really big companies and I don't feel like I can do anything. I had an opportunity to work with my colleague here, Glo, to take action right after Jimmy Kimmel was ousted from ABC, and folks, millions of Americans canceled their subscriptions to Disney Plus. Millions of Americans stood up in a very short amount of time and said, not on our watch. This is not how you're going to treat people who continue to uplift and uphold the First Amendment. We saw just a couple weeks ago that if you make one different kind of easy choice, just for a short period of time, that can have huge impact. So we want to encourage people to take that simple step this upcoming holiday weekend. Join us for the We Ain't Buying It campaign. Withhold your spending to these three major retailers. Join us, spread the word, share it with your friends, and talk about why. Talk about why you're still upset that Target cut its DEI programs. Talk about why you don't think it's right that Jeff Bezos donated to the Trump campaign and therefore is benefiting from billions of dollars in corporate tax cuts. Talk about the fact that you don't think it's a good idea or American, quite frankly, for ICE to be allowed to show up to Home Depot parking lots and kidnap some of our most vulnerable communities. And so that is what we're saying this holiday season. We invite you to join us for this campaign. And we're so thrilled that we have an opportunity to share just a little bit about this work and the why with all of you.
That's
You know,
it's
we were so happy to sign on as a partner for this. And one thing I loved about this whole initiative is the encouraging of shopping local on Saturday. Because, to me, supporting the local businesses, I'm personally willing to spend a little bit more to shop at a local business and support our businesses of color and our immigrant businesses. And you can get a lot cooler shit, to be frank.
That's exactly right. We know that it's local retailers that actually are the drumbeat of our communities. That's where folks are employed. That's where we know, we love and we treasure the people that work there, the people that continue to keep our communities running. And we know it's sometimes hard in some neighborhoods and in some parts of the country. It might be hard to figure out, okay, if I don't go to Target, where else do I buy the things that I need? We're not asking you to permanently do anything, some of you may be in a position like, nah, I'm never going to shop at this retailer again. That's great. We're with you, stand up and do your thing. And also, we're saying for a short period of time, let's make some different choices so that we remind these companies that we are watching them. We're not going to let them do what they do and continue to allow the things that we're seeing happen all over this country. We're going to stand up.
Mm. I
We
also
have
wanted to, oh,
Oh.
sorry.
and we have a question of why Walmart is not included.
Yeah. I think I can take that one. So another big part of this is a coalition led by Black Voters Matter. It's led by people of color, and the other focus of this is like in rural and low-income communities, there aren't many choices for people to shop at. Um, Walmart is one of the most available stores, especially in rural and low income communities. So I think that with this campaign, it's not like a boycott everything campaign. We pick specific targets where people could feel good about not spending at these companies, but with the understanding that they're going to have to spend and buy something. And especially with low income and rural consumers, there's just not a lot of choice. Target, again, has consistently rolled back on DEI initiatives, even though they've commit to it. And there's a long-standing boycott campaign led by a pastor and by the Target Fest organization. So that's another part of the framing is it's not just buy local, but buy Black, buy immigrant owned, and buy from businesses that are owned by people of color. And there is a good website, it's buyblack.org, that you can search and see if some of those businesses in your local community are owned by Black people. So
I love this concept because it's very, very targeted. It's something that people can wrap their arms around, and very specific. Um, I've looked into and thought about the concept of like an economic walkout, a lot over the last 10 years since Trump descended from that elevator or escalator. I think an important point is that yes, we're asking people over this specific period of time to not um, buy from these retailers, but it becomes a defeated purpose if then you turn around, on Tuesday or Wednesday of the week after Thanksgiving and then make all your purchases, right? It's really depriving them of the revenue completely is the important part, right?
And also to have a powerful weekend of action to say we're taking notice. We're all going to
Yeah.
participate in something and have some impact together. I think there's a lot to be said, and I know a lot of folks are really hungry for this question of how do we use our dollars to actually make an impact in this moment? It feels like the most American thing that we could do is use our dollars strategically to make our voices heard. And also, we're encouraging folks for this short period of time. And to your point, Nick, there will come a moment where we need to flex our muscle in a bigger way. There will come a moment when we need to make sure we're scaling up what we're doing. And so, what we're also thinking about is this is a short-term engagement for us to have some impact together because we want to continue to invite people. And I'm sure many of you on today's call talk to folks all the time, and you hear the feeling of I don't know what to do. I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. We want to get out of that feeling of I don't know what to do and have people take a small step, which is shop in a different way for a short period of time. Let's flex our muscle together and make sure everybody knows that this Black Friday to Cyber Monday, we're making a different choice. We're saying no to these companies that have continued to fold to Trump. And we're taking action and encouraging the masses, everyday people, everyone in our community to join us.
I love it. And have you all in this coalition talked about what the strategy might be going forward beyond um, the Thanksgiving weekend?
Glo, do you want to speak to that?
yeah, absolutely. So I think that, like Sasha mentioned, the one of the main purposes of this is to build that economic pressure muscle. So we've absolutely talked about continuing this beyond Black Friday, but for right now, we are really focusing on this. It's actually 5 days. Sorry, it's from Thanksgiving all the way through Cyber Monday, and the reason for that is like most of the consumer spend for the entire year. I think it's between like 60 and 70% of consumer spending is on this specific weekend. $1.5 trillion are spent by consumers on this weekend. And that breaks down by ethnic minority as well. So it's really, really key that we hone in on this weekend and but we will be continuing to have more discussions after this weekend. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. And folks, you can definitely drop questions into Q&A if you've got them. Jamie, do we have um, any questions popping up?
So, what is a good alternative to Home Depot?
That's a good question.
Because I know, like locally, I won't shop at my Ace because it's owned by a MAGA supporter, so I won't give my money. So I've been doing more Lowe's because it's the least of, it's the lesser of the three evils.
Lowe's is definitely an option. Also, I'm sure Lowe's has its own issues, and maybe sometimes we feel like there's no big box, gigantic retailer that oftentimes has our community's backs. Again, shopping local. And again, it's just about, it's not like we're not saying a permanent boycott. And again, if that's what you want to do, by all means, I support you. I got you. I will retweet all the things that you're saying about why these brands are terrible permanently. And also, we're asking folks to withhold spending, right? Like if you, it's a short period of time to think about some other retailers, think about who maybe in your community, maybe take a drive and see if you can find another different retailer not too far away from you for a short period of time. And again, the focus is on for these 5 days, as Glow said, from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, just making a different choice and to say, I see what these companies are doing and I cannot stand by it. So if Lowe's is your go-to, I'm not here to promote any brand or any business. I'm going to try to shop local where I live in my community. And also there's this bigger question, right? Like a lot of communities don't have small businesses that open their doors all the time. These are
Right.
really big questions that we
Yeah.
are asking and interrogating and also encouraging people to pause and think like, why is it that I don't have
Why
that?
is that? Right.
What might I do to continue to create an environment and support an environment where small businesses, locally owned options are something that I feel like I can rely on longer term. So we know we're opening a Pandora's box of lots and lots of different important economic questions. And again, want to invite folks to, again, short period of time, take a stand with us and join the campaign.
Here's an interesting question. Somebody who's been boycotting for years, and these have been off her list for months now. Is there a way to think of a specific support to make our voices heard? Something like a Buy Tylenol Day, close to when he attacked Tylenol. And I think that's quite fascinating. So
Glo, do you have thoughts on that? Things to buy, maybe, and
yeah.
Goodwill.
Sorry, I'm just thinking. I think so for this specific action, again, and I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record. I think it really is just buy local. I think, and again, it's not about guilt. It's like if you in terms of like targeted actions like around like specific like inflection points, there could be sorry. There could be inflection points. So I represent 5051, and like one of the other things that we're thinking about doing is something called a cart jam, where we actually fill up carts and then abandon them online, of course, not in person. And so that's actually like messes with KPIs, especially with Amazon, because they specifically have like KPIs that they're measuring for success. So I guess that could be something within that frame of mind. But I guess that would be my main thoughts. But the campaign itself is really focusing on not buying. So I guess I'll stick with that.
Makes sense. I love that idea. That sounds fun. Yeah.
I do too. And, and we certainly saw a movement, like when Target ended their DI and Costco did the opposite and double down. The number of memberships that the new memberships to Costco were insane. And I've been a Target boycotter since that whole thing. And I've gone to Costco and I've certainly seen that in the lines at Costco. Um, the lines are much longer now. And what's funny is you actually pass Target to go to Costco, and our Target parking lot is dead. And there's this huge line of cars waiting to get into Costco.
We've heard that a lot. And I think also telling the story of brands and retailers that are trying to do the right thing to that point, whether they're being called out or there's fake news being spread about who they are and what their products are, which is, so dangerous for a whole host of reasons, especially with the Tylenol question. Some brands have really stood their ground and continue to say, we're not going to capitulate. We're not going to fold.
Love that.
And I know this
Jamie?
is shocking to everybody, but we did do a toolkit using their amazing graphics. So and that is in the docs as well. We've also added the docs to in the doc the websites for We Ain't Buying It, for the Buy Black, the Virginia Coalition. We've added all of these websites to this document so you can find them very easily. Do you know of any website that does local immigrant-owned businesses?
That's a good question. Glo, do you know of one?
I think I may have said something. I can send it to you after the call if we do know of anything, but the main one that I've been recommending is buyblack.org.
That's fine. We'll see. We'll poke around, see if we can find that.
Yeah. All right. So I want to know who's committed to boycotting these 5 days.
Or
Give us
not
a
boycotting,
reaction.
just
Or
not buying.
not buying.
Yeah. Well, and I think I think it's an important point, and I'll talk about Starbucks here really quick too. The Starbucks Workers United is on strike right now. I know it's not connected directly to what you guys are doing, but similar sort of vibe. And the Starbucks workers are on an unfair labor practices strike, and they're asking people. They're not asking people to boycott Starbucks because that is a word that carries specific meaning. But they are asking people not to buy Starbucks products and not to patronize Starbucks stores as the strike is happening. So I just wanted to throw that out there and just reiterate that language matters here a bit, and so when you're sharing from the toolkit, the language that's in there is there intentionally, and so please try and stick to what the organizations who are organizing these sort of events are requesting. So
The difference between don't buy and boycott.
So I think there's a couple different things. So boycott sometimes means specifically or intentionally causing harm to a company, which can be legally, especially with this administration, when they're potentially threatening to call out certain 501(c)(3)s as terrorist organizations. We have to be very specific and careful in order to have a broad coalition. So economic pressure means that we're taking power into our own hands by choosing where to spend our dollars. It does not imply legally that we're directly putting harm towards the company, but I will say it's implied by the direct outcome of our actions. But at the same time, I think it's very key that we're honing in on this is a coalition not just of activist organizations or pro-democracy organizations. We also have faith leaders. We have other types of nonprofits. So that was really the vision of Latasha Brown, who really, actually made this branding, and then we kind of helped it come to life. So that's kind of the difference there, just between the verbiage and the idea behind the vision.
And what's the overall objective? Are you trying to change the company's behavior or just show the power of our wallet? Because to me, it's kind of all of it, because we've seen when you hit their profits, we can certainly change their behavior.
Yeah. I think I think you nailed it on the head right there. Again, kind of going back to why we're doing these things in the first place. with Amazon being a monopoly, being anti-union, and also I think it just makes sense, especially with the tie into Cyber Monday. What we would expect to see is them, changing their consumer practices to be more ethical. Also, not continuously cracking down on unions. The unions themselves are making calls around Amazon, so listening to unions. Home Depot not complying with ICE. Target would be to actually stick to its DEI practices. So I think that's what we would kind of expect to see or hope to see.
Makes sense.
All right, I think that is it for the questions.
All right. Well, so what we're asking of folks, as we've said, is this is an organization that focuses on digital amplification and spreading messages online. You guys have a lot of reach, and so we are asking all of you to share this opportunity to engage, to take action over the holiday weekend, the 5-day holiday weekend. We included the social media toolkit in the link stock. And yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna share this a ton from my social media accounts. We'll do it from the Demcast account across all social media platforms, and we ask that you do the same and not just share it. Sometimes we lean towards sharing just on social media, but this could be one where you send an email, you send a text to people in your contact group. People are dying for and really wanting things that they can do that can turn the tide, make an impact in an era where oligarchs are taken over and fascists are taken over, and using our buying power is something that really speaks to the sort of the rising oligarchy people who are really pulling the strings in terms of what's happening in DC and in the States as well. So thank you all and Jamie, we should let's do a social storm in the next week or so in the lead up to Thanksgiving, so that we sort of maximize our voice as a community and impact.
And then in our next democracy briefing, Tom will be able to join then. So, but I want to show you guys something before we head off tonight.
Don't go away. Don't go away. This is very important. It's coming.
I'm kitten sitting. How cute is this little thing?
Oh my goodness.
He's 3 weeks old, and my friend's out of town, and so I'm bottle feeding him while she's gone. But isn't this just the cutest little thing ever? How can you not smile at this little thing, huh?
Everybody needed that. Thank you, Jamie. All right. Well, on that note, thank you very much to Sasha and to Glow for joining us, and we're really excited to jump on board here and throw the thrust of the Dimcast community behind this effort. Let's go make some noise.
Thanks, everyone. Big thanks to Glow. Thank you for having us this evening. We appreciate you all.
Appreciate you.
Thank you
Especially
guys
on
so
Twitter.
much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for
All right.
having us.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.